Are you struggling with imposter syndrome or self doubt or self sabotage, wondering how in the world is this coaching thing going to work out? So, I have a special guest today. My client, Chelsea, she came to me back in 2020, brand new, had never had a coaching business, never worked with clients in this capacity. And we were able to do and create some magic together. So, full transparency, this episode was filmed in 2020, but I never got my podcast launched last year. So we're here bringing this episode because I think it's really important for y'all to recognize what is so possible when you shift into full belief, full trust, and you release the fear that's been holding you back. So we're definitely going to have Chelsea back on the podcast in here shortly because there's been some massive major updates since this episode. But I definitely think this is going to spark your intuition. It's going to spark your desire to get into motion. So kick back, enjoy the episode, and write down some golden nuggets that you take away from Chelsea because she shares a lot of them. And I'm really excited for y'all to enjoy this episode. So see ya on the inside. Welcome to the Elevate Your Online Business podcast. I'm your host, Latice Hudson, and in 2018, I quit my corporate job, launched my coaching business, and in less than 1 year, I hit the six-figure mark. And now I'm here to help you do it too. So each week on the podcast, I'm going to share all things money, mindset, and online marketing so you can reach more people, make more money, and do what you love from the comfort of anywhere in the world. Sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink, and enjoy the show. It's your time to elevate. Hey, Chelsea, welcome to the Elevate Your Business podcast. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I'm super excited to have you on the show today. So just a little background info, you guys. Chelsea is one of my current clients inside of our signature program, the Elevate to Success Accelerator. She's been in the program, I think just maybe like over 2 months. And she's like been killing it in the program. So I wanted to just kind of track her journey over the entire 6 months. So kind of wanted to bring her on. She has a very interesting story. So that's kind of why she's on the podcast today. So I don't want to talk too much, but I'm going to go ahead and let Chelsea introduce herself. So Chelsea, if you want to give us a little bit of background about who you are, what you do, and who you serve.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for saying all those sweet things. You're really hyping me up here. But yeah, so I am a career coach and I help women get out of unfulfilling, toxic, unhealthy work environments into a career path that serves them and brings them joy and fulfillment. And so, yeah, it's very similar to my own journey, and I just have loved the women that I've served so far.
You are crushing it, girl. And like, you're just everything about you just like exhibits like powerhouse. So I'm just so honored to be able to be in your corner and serve you every day. So the things that you're doing with women in their careers is amazing. So curious, like what really led you to wanting to become an online like career coach? Like what was like that defining moment for you in your journey that was like, I need help, I need to do this. It's either like do or die. Like what was that defining moment?
Yeah, well, like I mentioned, I wanted to pursue this originally because I was in a very toxic work environment. As you know, I worked as a recruiter for 3 years, and although there were parts of the job that I liked and enjoyed, ultimately there were a lot of things about the job that really, just not to be dramatic, destroyed my mental, physical, emotional, spiritual well-being. And I realized that enough to be able to transition out of that job. But it wasn't until after I left that I realized the damage that I had done over the course of 3 years. And so what really inspired me, after I left that job, I got into a great job. I was actually an active travel guide for 3 years, which is a whole another story that we could talk about for an hour. But it was an amazing job and I loved what I did there. But I started to slowly help people in their careers just naturally, friends, family who were in similar positions to what I was in. And so I realized, hey, maybe there's something here. So I just started with, little resume revamps, cover letters, kind of all over the place, offering just a million different services, which I now know was not the best tactic to do, as you've taught me as well.
It's okay. We all start somewhere. It's okay.
Oh yeah. It's all was part of the journey, and it all turned out great in the end. But that's kind of where I started. And then I eventually moved to really focusing on corporate women and really helping someone that was very much in my position. And what I now know is that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of women out there that are in the same position I was in. And my goal is to help them gain the clarity to see that there is a better path out there, to see that you can have a career that you love, and to be able to have the tools and the confidence to get there.
Yeah, no, that's super great. And I love that you're focused, like hyper focused on careers. I want to back up a little bit before we kind of talk about that. But just from your own journey, when you think about when you really started to feel like the weight of the world on your shoulders, like what was the timeline from you being like, okay, this isn't like starting to find out like this wasn't for you from you making the decision to leave the corporate world? What was the timeline on that?
Yeah, it was really a year where I first realized, okay, I think I need to leave. But of course, we make excuses and we talk ourselves out of different things for different reasons. I said, oh, I need my benefits. I need my salary. There's no way I can leave these things, or I'm going to get a promotion. So, over a course of a year, I made those excuses with myself. And it got to a point where, like I mentioned earlier, my physical and mental health was probably the most evident thing. I was probably about 20 or 25 pounds over what I am now. I just mentally was not doing well. And once I started to notice those things, once my burnout started to manifest itself in those ways where I could see what the damage was doing to me, I felt that weight of the world, like you said. And I was like, there's no amount of money, there's no promotion, there's nothing that would ever be able to keep me in this job right now. I don't care if I have to like sleep on someone's couch, like I'm leaving. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I think that's really powerful that you recognize that, because the thing is so many women don't, and until they get to this point of like extreme burnout where there's almost like no reversal, right? Fun fact, you
Mm-hmm.
guys, is that a lot of times it can take up to 5 years for burnout to fully manifest itself. And by that point, you're sick, your mental health is like vastly at risk, like relationships in your life are torn down. Like I know this, like I live the corporate world, and that's a lot of how Chelsea and I connected, just because like I was in HR, she was a recruiter. So like just a lot of like some of the similarities. And I'm really proud of you that you decided to make that leap, because it's not easy. It's scary. And like from birth, we're taught to like basic needs, Maslow's hierarchy of needs is like for safety. So when the world tells us that a corporate job is safe, what do? We just stick with a corporate job, knowing that that's not the only way. Now, there are definitely corporate jobs that are flexible, that are amazing, that have great company culture. For example, when I worked for Target, you guys, for almost 7 years, there were long hours, but like the culture was like unmatched, right? And if I was an entrepreneur now, I'd be working for Target still, because it's an amazing company. So there are corporate environments that are great, but a lot of times the way corporate is structured, it's not necessarily set up for the benefit of the employee. It's set up for the corporation. So I'm really proud of you, Chelsea, for recognizing burnout and getting out of that situation, because here you are now. So
Yeah.
thanks for sharing that part of your story, because I know it's not always easy to recognize and be vulnerable, but it's really powerful for other women to see your own vulnerabilities and know that like there is another side. So
Yeah.
awesome. I love it. Thanks, girl. So kind of walk me through, like, as a career coach, like why, like, obviously you were at a point where you were an active travel guide. You really loved that flexible job, but you knew there was something more. Kind of walk me through what led you to wanting to full-fledged go into coaching, and like kind of just a little bit of background, like what has been the process of you like really getting your coaching business off the ground.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, I kind of started to slowly help people in these different ways. And then I started to just kind of add on coaching as just a free complimentary additional service. And once I started to notice the transformations that these individuals were getting from the little bit of coaching that I was getting, I was just brought so much joy. And I just was like, wow, there's something here. There's something here that's lighting me up. And so I need to pursue this. So I started to look into other coaches and people like you and see kind of what they were doing and the transformations that they were offering their clients. And so once I started to see that I, as an individual, could transform somebody else's life, I mean, that's incredible. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? Who wouldn't want to impact someone else? That's the best kind of legacy that I think I could leave in my life. And I think that's a gift that I'm blessed to have, is to be able to coach others.
Yeah, I'm actually going to pause you because I want to talk about that word
Yeah.
legacy. That's a powerful, powerful word. So when
Yeah.
you think about legacy, like in your coaching business, and we'll kind of talk about like what the process has been for you to really get it off the ground. But when we talk about legacy, that is the why. And I talk a lot about that inside of our program, because the why is what's going to drive you. Like no matter what, the money is going to be there. You're going to be successful if you get the right tools and have the right mindset. But that's not necessarily the money. Contrary to what people think, the money is not what is going to drive you for the long term. So I would love for you to kind of just talk about, when you think about legacy of like Chelsea Stokes, like what does the legacy look like for you and looks like inside of your signature program and your coaching business?
Yeah, that is such a good question. I think my legacy for me is I just want to impact as many lives as possible. And, who knows, maybe eventually I will start to work with men, in a different way in the workplace. I mean, the career world is just limitless in kind of the different areas you can go, executives, men, women, different industries. And so for me though, I would love to impact as many lives as I possibly can. And you talk a lot about serving, like I want to serve as many people as I can. And if that's, if I could even change the life of one person, then I would be happy. And I've already done that. So, I just want to keep going to continue to impact, because there's so many millions, billions of people in the world. There's just so many people that need our help as coaches, right? And so, with the programs that we develop, we can help get them the transformations that, they need, or maybe not even realize that they need.
Yeah, that's really powerful. And like the beautiful thing is that, and we often hear, right, in the coaching space, is that there's people already doing it. Like there's people that are already
Yeah.
doing what I'm doing. Like you guys, there are so many freaking people in this universe that like it would be asinine to sit here and think that you can't make an impact, right? Because if we're truly
Mm-hmm.
living out of our purpose and living out of why we're called here, aka legacy, like Chelsea has so beautifully put it, then that means we've got to get up every day and get to it. Because at the end of the day, there are people waiting on you. And I'm so happy Chelsea realized that, like, no matter what, like to walk in her purpose every day, she had to do this, right? Because
Yeah.
you don't get a calling for no reason. You get that calling because it's your specific calling. So I'm just like floored by Chelsea. She's amazing. I keep bragging on her, but she's my client, but she's also freaking amazing as a human being in general. So I love it.
Oh, you're so sweet. And I want to add too that when I was thinking about working with you, and I had, helped other clients, but I really wanted to develop this signature program. And I was like, if Latisse can help me impact even just one person with this signature program, like, then it would be worth it. So I just want to give kudos to you, because I was like, I really think that she could help me get, just that one impact. I would be so happy if she could help me do that. And you have helped me far and beyond those ways. So
It's only been 2 months, but yeah,
I know.
that is so, I love it. Yeah. And it's like, it's leading with impact first is what's going to get you
Mhm.
so much further ahead than people who are just in it for a quick buck. Cause that's not what coaching is
Yeah.
about, right? Obviously it's a very lucrative industry. You can make great money. You can be very comfortable and successful, but at the core of it, it's all about impact. impact. So, and you are truly embodying that. So let's kind of shift gears, and I would love to kind of talk about like the process that you've went through over the last really like 6 to 8 weeks, because basically coming into our Elevate to Success Accelerator, you had an idea, right? You knew that you wanted to be a career coach, but you were kind of in this spot where you had multiple different things that you're offering, these one-off a la carte services. So what was your mindset when you were like, okay, like I need to make something signature so I can truly create the biggest impact? So talk to me about that. And then also like just your overall, like your opinion of the process and like what you've enjoyed so far of launching.
Oh man. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
it's
enjoyed it
loaded.
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. Yeah. So my mindset coming in honestly was pretty not confident.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of coaches struggle with this. It's like, why am I, can I do this? Imposter syndrome, right? That's a term that's thrown around a lot. I think I definitely felt that way. Like, how am I really going to be able to do this? How am I going to be able to make this signature program, this high ticket offer that provides high value? And so I had a lot of limiting beliefs, and really, I think I've told you this before, the mindset work in the program was life-changing for me, honestly. And I don't want to sound like dramatic, but honestly, like it really shifted me and my business completely. And so that was really one of the most major things, because, kind of doing that, the business tactics and stuff, like, that's, still really super high valuable stuff in your program. But really that mindset work that I did right in the beginning with you was really, really transformative for me, and still is. It's obviously still something I'm working on. Nobody's perfect.
Right.
But, as I kind of continue as a coach and get to my next level self, I'm going to be constantly working on that for the rest of my life. So
Yeah, it's like one of those things that people forget about, right? Because I do talk about it, right, in our marketing and our message and like just how I show up in everyday life. But even like furthermore, it's something that is so important to me that it's literally the first pillar and the first milestone that you have to go through before I let you do anything else. Because if your mindset is not right, and it's further than just like general mindset, it's really busting through some of those subconscious beliefs, busting through that imposter syndrome and feeling like a fraud, and really getting to a space of feeling worthy and getting to a space of feeling like you can actually do it is super powerful. And I think that a lot of people don't necessarily expect that from a business coaching program, but getting into a program that does have it and that it's done really well, it's like, it's going to change the trajectory of what you could have ever imagined. So I'm like thrilled that that is like something that stands out to you, because before, especially getting in the high ticket, selling anything really, but especially shifting into a high ticket space where it is a high value, but there's also high transformation, high touch, and it is a higher price point. Like it more than ever, it's crucial to have a solid, rock solid mindset, because it can be scary and it can make you feel like a fraud at the end of the day when you're not. Obviously you're an expert, but it's getting to the headspace that allows you to like flourish and conquer throughout the journey. So as you've launched your high ticket program, just give me like some of your insight. Like what have you loved so far about like putting out such an amazing offer? And you can talk about your offer too, but what have you loved so far about putting it out into the world?
oh man, so many things. I mean, I think the process of building my offer in your program, it totally exceeded like the vision I had for the program. I had a pretty good vision coming in, and in a way that I wanted to transform my clients' lives. And so my program is basically set up, the first phase, we're talking about mindset. The first phase is mindset. And so I work with my clients first to, transform their mindset, to start believing that they can get their dream career and that they can interview confidently, and really go into the whole program with the belief that they can do this. And then connecting that mindset to also their personality and what the path is going to be for them. And then the second stage is growing them in their networks. That's like the nitty gritty stuff, resumes, cover letters, but really working on networking. And that's a really big thing, especially now during coronavirus. Woo, man,
Hopefully it'll be over soon.
hopefully.
When are we filming
Yeah.
this? In August 2020. So hopefully if you're listening to this in the future, it's over.
I sure hope so. But even if we weren't in a pandemic, you got to make a human to human connection. You have to network. And that's really the way you're going to get those great jobs at those companies, even in the corporate world, like those companies that value their employees, those are hard jobs to get. So we really focus on that and networking. And then the third phase is expanding, moving on and beyond. So we talk about how we're setting you up for success, negotiating salary, leaving your job, and breaking any old habits that you had in your previous position so that you can just be the best version of you moving forward, and also have skills to transform in your career moving forward, because it's not just about getting to that next job, it's about your entire career. And, you know, a lot of the women I'm working with still have 30, 35 years left in their career. So like, where are you going to go and how are you going to adjust moving forward? So I came in with a similar vision to that, but working in the program and working with you, and not just you, but with the community that your program provides, I was able to elevate my program to the next level. Like how I threw that in there.
A little play on words. I love it.
It's so true though. Like, it was really taken to the next level. And, you know, going back to serving, like, I feel like I have created a program that serves my clients so well and takes them to a level even further beyond what I had envisioned. And so I've just been so impressed with, I told you, I think in our onboarding call in the first week, that you were already exceeding my expectations. So,
You
you know,
did. Yeah, that made me like, I just like cheese so hard when you guys tell me. Not that I'm out here like, give me all the feedback, but that was so sweet, Chelsea. I was just like, oh my God, we barely even started. It's only been a 30-minute call.
it was so true though. Like, I was already diving into some of the modules and I was like, oh my God. And I also told you this, I have to mention it. When we first started talking, I'm like, why would everyone not work with Latisse? Like, she has her stuff together. Like, and this program, like, once I was in it, I was like, oh yeah, my gut feeling was right. Like,
Yeah.
it just, and I know, like, I'm really like being so honest when I say like it exceeded my expectations in the first week. So, you know, again, just to go back, like, to my main point, which is just that, you know, I was able to take this signature program to beyond what I thought it could be. And for that, I am so grateful to you and the community and the program.
Yes, you guys, I did not pay her to say any of this. This is all
She did
her.
not.
I did not pay her to say any of this. If anything, she paid me, right? I'm just kidding. But no, the funny thing is, like, we don't have to talk about your price point of your program, but what is like, I remember, right? I think in our onboarding call, like, because sometimes it's hard to visualize and picture what your program is going to look like, but I work it in such a simplistic, but like super highly effective way. Like, we break it down in phases and we work through it week by week. And I give you guys real life examples on how to make it happen. Like, literally, like, Chelsea came in with like thinking one price for her program. And what, a couple weeks later, you're like, oh, hell no, this needs to look completely different because there's so much value. Like, what was that like when you were like, no, this needs to be completely different because it's so much value?
Yeah, that was really shocking, a shocking realization to me, because I came into the program with a lot of limiting money beliefs, which I didn't even realize, but man, I had a lot of limiting beliefs around that area. So yeah, when I first, you know, had this vision, like I said, of this program in the beginning, I was like, okay, I had like a pretty high ticket number that I was thinking about. But after I built it out with you and with the community and the program, I was like, oh my God, this is worth at least double what I priced it at. And I think, yeah, through the process that you work with us, you just realize how much value your program has. And I'm comfortable with the number I'm at. It is a high ticket number, but I think that my program is worth much, much, much more, because the skills that my clients are getting, they can use for the rest of their lives. So, but it's a number I feel good at, you know, it's a number that I'm comfortable with, but it, yeah, you know, it was double what I originally thought it was going to be.
And I always tell my clients, like, I tell you guys to like think of a price and add 30%. And then when you build it all out, you're going to be like, nope, I need to raise it. And it's not out of a place of just raising prices to raise prices, you guys. I want you guys to understand there's a very specific process that I teach and like that you go through where you will start to unfold the value. And I talk a lot about separating the value and the transformation and the results you can get for your clients from your worth. Because the issue that I see coaching dozens and dozens and dozens of women over the last like 2 years is that there's so many limiting beliefs behind being worthy that once we start to separate, like, our offer from our worth, right? You as a human are not a dollar sign, period. Like you're invaluable. And I will say that to the day that I die, right? And it's really important and hyper crucial to separate that. And the moment that you lay it out on paper, lay it out in a way that feels really good, you're going to be like, it's actually worth this because I know that the results that I'm going to get my clients, it's going to be at least 10x this over the lifetime of their career or their business or their health, whatever you're helping people with. So I'm like, I told Chelsea, I was like, you're going to tell me, you're going to come back to me in a couple of weeks and be like, oh yeah, no, this is totally worth way more. And
Yeah.
so it was. And then some magic happened, right? Today's episode is sponsored by our signature group coaching program, the Elevate to Success Accelerator. Coaches tell me all the time, I'm ready for freedom in my coaching business. One-to-one coaching has been fun, but I'm ready for what's next. While there is a time and a place for courses in one-to-one coaching, when you're looking to scale past those coveted 10K months, an evergreen group coaching program is absolutely necessary. When I launched my evergreen group coaching program in 2019, it literally changed my entire life and business. Why? Because I was no longer capped on time. I took my expertise, packaged it up, and sold it one to many every single day of the week. I finally got the real freedom that I've been looking for and the bank account too. This new way of coaching created massive leverage and massive impact. If you're anything like me, your freedom and impact is non-negotiable. This is exactly why I want to invite you to apply for the Elevate to Success Accelerator group coaching program. Just for applying, I also want to send you over a free exclusive advanced training I recently created about the 3-part framework to consistent 5 to 6 figure months with a high ticket group coaching program. This training is for coaches who are ready to create a group coaching program, attract clients on autopilot, and create a business that you truly love. It's for you, even if you have a small audience of never sold group coaching before. It takes just 2 minutes to apply. Head on over to www.leticehudson.com/apply to get all the details. So walk me through what's been, some of your proudest moment. You've only been in the program for about 2 months, right? What's been your proudest moment so far inside of the Elevate to Success Accelerator program?
I think my proudest moment was signing my first client. That was a huge win. And it was a win that came sooner than I expected, a lot sooner. I mean, I think it was in the first month right?
It was right at the end of the first month. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I was so in shock. I remember when I got that first client, and I think I left you a voice message right after that, where I was still in shock. I was like, I cannot believe this, because I did not expect that. I did not expect to get my first client in the first month. But, one thing I think, from your program that you said in the beginning is about consistency. Consistency is really key. And I think that is really what led to me having that client. And so, I was just really proud of the consistency that I had put in, the work I had put in on my end to be able to get that first client. That was huge. It was amazing. It was such a great moment.
I guess I love when you guys get results, because that's why we're here, right? For you guys to get amazing results. And at the end of the day, I mean, it's leading with that impact. And yes, consistency is a part of the formula, right? That's never going to go away, but putting in the work, you saw how quick it happened for you. And I'm just going to tag this in. It was a paid in full client, so effortless at your newer doubled rates, right? Because that's what was aligned from a mindset perspective. It was laid out very transformational, and it was a beautifully packaged program, right? And that's what it takes, you guys. So many of you who are listening to this podcast are probably in your head about it, and it gets to be that easy. Now, I know it's not actually easy. There is work that has to be put in, but you show up and do the work, right? Chelsea's she's a pure testimony of how quickly things can happen. And you are so deserving, all of you. And Chelsea, you worked your butt off for that. And the first high ticket client is the hardest to get. After that, it's just doubling down, optimizing, and doing more of what already works. So way to go, girl. Crushing it.
Thank you. And yeah, I just want to say, if someone's listening to this and they're I don't know if I can do it, you can do it. If you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to execute what the program has laid out in a very clear framework, you can absolutely do it. There's no reason that you can't. It's just your motivation is the difference between you doing it and you not doing it.
100%. I totally agree. And even on top of that, like just being disciplined to know that it's a compound effort over time. Like I talk about all the time, like the more work that you put in, and that doesn't mean getting to burnout. Like I am a big advocate for self-care and resetting yourself. Like, but I also know that a lot of times people make excuses, and we like just know that we don't make time for excuses like anywhere in my communities, but especially my paid communities. It's so important that you come in and get whatever result that you're looking for. That may not be hitting a 20K month or a 10K month, that may be hitting a 3K month or a 5K month, or just getting over your mindset issues, whatever it is, it's so possible for you. And like Chelsea's like a walking testimony. And so I'm really proud of you, girl. Awesome, love. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. So I'd love to ask all of my clients, especially when we do these types of series, because just so you guys know, we're going to be tracking Chelsea's journey. So we're going to bring her back at the end of her time inside of the program and see where she's at. But I just wanted to make like a good introduction of her and like what beautiful things she's accomplishing in the world. So more to come from her. You will definitely be hearing from her again. So as we wrap up, Chelsea, my big question to you is, how do you on a day-to-day basis elevate your life, whether it's like lifestyle wise, personal wise? Lay it on us. How do you elevate your life?
I think, especially in this program, I have come into 2020 with like, do not mess with my energy. Like, I am working on this next level self of me, and I'm already like at a spot where I feel really good about where I'm at. But I just have this energy now where I'm just like, do not get in my way. I do not have time for people that are going to bring me down. No toxic people, like men, like
All
if
of
you're
it.
not
Goodbye.
all of it. Yeah, if you're not here to help elevate me in my daily life, like I just do not have time for that. And that goes with relationships. It goes with, what I'm eating, the morning practices I have. And I know I practice a lot of mindfulness, and I have a big element of self-love and self-care in my career coaching as well. And so that's something that I practice every day and something that I teach my clients. So yeah, I would say just really not having time for anything that's going to bring me down, putting myself first, and just eliminating those things that do not serve me as a person, as a coach, as a human.
Yeah, I think that's really powerful. And I think really we could wrap that up in saying like just setting really good boundaries for yourself and not tolerating anything less than you deserve and things that are not going to fill up your cup every day. Because as you see, like we're all about building a life and a business that you love. And like if things in your personal life or people in your personal life like are toxic or not healthy or what have you, it's going to bleed into your business. And like I really believe there's a strong gap or a strong connection between having a healthy business and a healthy life. And it has to be in sync, especially as an entrepreneur. So the last thing I want to follow up on is like, if you could give our audience like one tip, like you are so big on mindfulness and self-care, like what would you recommend to the elevated entrepreneur that's listening right now as a self-care tip to get into a better headspace to take care of themselves?
That's such a good question. I honestly believe in a really powerful morning routine, and it can really be broken out into 4 different things. Doing something where you move, right? Like you get your body, whether that's a walk or exercise. Getting hydrated would be the second thing, like drinking water or tea and really getting those fluids into your body. Third would be mindfulness, like doing something like journaling or just something very mindful, yoga maybe, just something that you enjoy. It could even just be like noticing the flowers outside, as corny as that sounds, but doing something where you just slow down for a minute. And meditation, I really believe in the power of meditation. I think it's a great way, especially as coaches who usually have a million things going on, just to take even like 2 or 5 minutes to meditate using an app or something. I really believe in the power of that. And I think that it can really help get your mindset in the place that it needs to be to serve others as a coach.
I love that. I love all of that. And I would be the first to say I don't have the strongest morning routine, but I've definitely personally been working over that for the last like few months. And it has changed my life, especially the meditation piece, like movement, just because as like you said, as coaches, we take on so much of other people's energy that we have to fill up our cup every day. And that means putting ourselves first so we can then go serve super powerfully. So I love that. That's a core piece of not only who you are, but also a core piece of what you teach in business in your business, because at the end of the day, like, especially helping the career focused women, like, it's so powerful to be able to have that space for themselves every single day. So absolutely amazing, Chelsea. I am so proud of you. I can't wait to talk to you in about 4 months again on
I
the
know.
podcast. So keep us updated. Last thing, where can they find you? Where do you hang out the most, and where can they find to connect with you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at Chelsea Stokes _. Post a lot of great content on there, or on Facebook at Chelsea Stokes, or Coach Chelsea Stokes is my Facebook page. Either of those places, you'll find me posting lots of really good free resources and lots of great content.
Awesome. So we'll make sure to link that in the show notes. But for now, Chelsea, we will continue to track your journey. And I so deeply love you, so deeply care about you. And I appreciate you coming on the show today. We'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Love you too, Latisse. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Hey, if you loved today's episode, I would love if you took a quick second to leave a rating and a review. It truly means the world to me and helps spread the message to coaches just like you who are ready to go to the next level in their business. And if you're ready to start scaling your online coaching business, I want to take the time to invite you to apply to join the Elevate to Success Accelerator. This is our exclusive high-level group coaching program for coaches ready to create and launch a signature group coaching program. This program would help you finally scale past those coveted 10K months and create a scalable business model for years to come. Head on over to www.latissehudson.com/apply to submit your application and get all the details. You don't want to miss it.